Welcome to the New York Minute Sports Show. We're going to be breaking down the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees today. Billy Wagner, Ichiro, and CC Sabathia get in. And guess what, guys? The Hall of Fame's dead. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube, guys. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. I'm going to be breaking down the Hall of Fame inductees today. Ichiro, Billy Wagner, and CC Sabathia get in. And with my apparel on, you think I should be clicking my heels about CC Sabathia getting in, but I'm not. Because guess what? Newsflash, I don't think CC Sabathia is a Hall of Famer. It hurts my heart to say these things, but I gotta tell you the truth on the show, guys. When CC Sabathia played, it was a prerequisite to have 300 wins to be a Hall of Famer. He's got 257. He's got one Cy Young and a championship and was the best pitcher in baseball for about 8 to 9 years. I am not sitting here telling you that CC Sabathia is not a good pitcher. He is. But it's the Hall of Fame. It's not the good pitcher's wing. Andy Pettitte, Mike Mussina, and CC Sabathia almost have identical stats. Andy Pettitte's stats are better than all of those guys' stats, including the most postseason wins by a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball history and 5 championships. 5. CC Sabathia is a very good player, but he's not a Hall of Famer, and this is why I'm saying the Hall of Fame is dead. When you're trying to let guys like Donnie Mattingly and Keith Hernandez, New York guys, and I'm going to get shit for this, but I don't care, they're not Hall of Famers. But once you let a guy like Mike Mussina in, now you start opening up the door for all these other people. And how does CC Sabathia get in on the first ballot? I love CC. He's a good pitcher. He's not a Hall of Famer, and he shouldn't be in on the first ballot. Let me name some Yankees that didn't get in on the first ballot. Whitey Ford, second ballot. Yogi Berra, second ballot. How about a guy by the name of Joe DiMaggio, 5th ballot? So do you start to see what I'm saying is the Hall of Fame is dead? A guy like Joe DiMaggio, it took him 5 times to get in. And CC Sabathia gets in on the first try? Let me name some other people that got in on the 4th or more try. Harmon Killebrew, Roberto Alomar. How about Cy Young? How about the guy they named for the Best Pitcher Award did not get in on the first ballot, and CC Sabathia gets in on the first ballot? If you let CC in now, you got to let Andy in. This is when the dominoes start to fall, and the bar is getting lowered. It used to be 500 home runs for a player, or an average career average of 300 or 3,000 hits and 300 wins for a pitcher. You know who I'm going to cut a break to when he's up for the Hall of Fame? Clayton Kershaw, because he's the perfect example of somebody that played in the new era that won't even sniff 300 wins because they're ripping these guys out of games in the 5th inning. No one's going complete games. No one's going 7+. People are happy if they get to 5 3/4. Like, the game has changed, folks, so the stats are going to change. But what they're doing is they're applying today's stats on Hall of Fame players' stats from 25 years ago. You're looking at right here on the screen, Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner. And I don't even want to get into Billy Wagner. He's on the fence big time. But when you got CC Sabathia getting 86.8% of the vote, he's a very well-liked guy. And I love CC Sabathia. I'm not sitting here hating on CC Sabathia. I know I'm going to hear it in the comments section. But let's just try to do some critical hearing on this one, guys. Because Andy Pettitte should be in the Hall of Fame before CC Sabathia should be. I understand that the juice plays a huge role into Andy Pettitte not being in. But guys, I am a 90s dude. I am a steroid era baby. And that sounds crazy to say out loud, but I am. Andy Pettitte got 27.9% of the vote. He got less than Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, who I think Alex Rodriguez was probably the most egregious steroid user out of those three, and Andy gets 27%. Who did he piss off? Andy's a nice guy, but who the hell did he piss off? If you look at the numbers and you look them up, the numbers are so similar between Andy and CC Sabathia and Mike Mussina. It's crazy. It really is. And you know what? It's never taking away from these guys, because we're talking about the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is supposed to be a very, very, very special thing. Okay? All these guys are good, great players. But you know what drives me crazy is when I see a guy like Russell Martin on the Hall of Fame ballot and I want to vomit in the passenger seat in my car. Jorge Posada should be in then, okay? Let me give you Russell Martin's no rings and 1,600 hits. How is Jorge Posada not in the Hall of Fame and Russell Martin is on a list? I know he didn't get much of the shine, but I don't care. The guys that I wanted in the Hall of Fame, Eric's New York Minute picks for the Hall of Fame, Omar Vizquel, Ichiro, Alex Rodriguez, and Manny Ramirez, and Billy Wagner. Omar Vizquel, if Ozzie Smith is in the Hall of Fame, Omar Vizquel needs to be in. Second in Gold Gloves and shortstop in history. Ozzie Smith is number 1 with 13. Omar Vizquel has 11. He's in. I don't care if he's got 90 career home runs. They didn't get him for home runs. He's one of the greatest defensive players ever to draw breath in baseball, the second best behind Ozzie Smith. Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez, I don't like you. I think you're a cornball. Derek Jeter don't like you. Anybody that has a painting of a centaur above their bed and is so self-absorbed and speaks the way that you do, I don't know how they can be in the room with you for more than 15 minutes. But guess what? You could ball. And God damn it, were you a good Yankee. And you have a great baseball mind. The guy's got over 680 home runs. His career stats are staggering. Alex Rodriguez is one of the greatest players ever to play next to Barry Bonds. All of those guys listen, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer even before he took steroids. Alex Rodriguez not being in the Hall of Fame, even though with all the baggage that he has, and he has plenty of it, Alex Rodriguez should be a Hall of Famer before CC Sabathia is. Okay? Alex Rodriguez's career numbers, 295 batting average, 696 home runs, 2,086 RBIs, close to 350 stolen bases, 3,115 career hits with a slugging percentage of .930 in 2,400 games. Those are staggering numbers. And guess what? A Red Sox hater, a guy that doesn't consume New England clam chowder, because of his hatred of the Boston Red Sox, Manny Ramirez should be in the Hall of Fame. He should have a small room in the Hall of Fame because, one, the guy was a character, and two, he was one of the greatest hitters I've ever seen in my lifetime. And imagine, Juan Soto gets $800 million on the open market. Imagine what Manny Ramirez would dictate nowadays. Would he get $1 billion? Juan Soto doesn't even hit 300. So the Hall of Fame is, and everyone, you could say that we're nitpicking, but that's what the Hall of Fame is. The Hall of Fame is nitpicking through stats and arguing with your friends to nauseam about how Russell Martin doesn't belong on the ballot, which he doesn't. And you see a lot of these guys on the ballot, and you can't even make heads or tails of how these guys even got on. Bobby Abreu, no. Carlos Beltran, maybe. Mark Burley, no. Carlos Gonzalez, no. Curtis Granderson, absolutely not. Felix Hernandez, I'll throw him in the Don Mattingly category. If he kept going for about 3 or 4 more years of that high-quality play, he'd be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Torrey Hunter, good player, good example, good player, solid player, not a Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones played himself out of the Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones came in at 18 years of age against the Yankees in 1996, played against with the Braves against the Yankees. 5-tool player. This guy looked like he was going to be the greatest player ever to draw breath. Still has close to 500 home runs, but when at the end of his career, when he was on the White Sox, man, did he tank and really ruin his numbers. So he's a no. Ian Kinsler, no. Russell Martin, you shouldn't even be on the list. Brian McCann, there's an argument, but this is what I was talking about, these next-gen stats coming down and drifting into the guys that were playing 20 years ago. Gonna hurt me to say it, alert. Dustin Pedroia. I like the dude. I always had respect for him. Hard-nosed, falls in the Derek Jeter category. You know, he's not the category of Derek Jeter, but the mentality, the winner, the leader, rings, intangibles, Bernie Williams kind of guy. You know, the stuff that you can't put on a stat sheet. And I think that should be considered in the Hall of Fame. But Dustin Pedroia, he's one of those fence guys, but I don't think he's Andy Pettitte. We covered that. Andy Pettitte's a Hall of Famer. Hanley Ramirez, absolutely not. Manny Ramirez, we covered that. Absolutely. Fernando Rodney, absolutely not. Alex Rodriguez, cornball, one of the greatest. K-Rod, nah, not really feeling it. Jimmy Rollins, no. CC Sabathia, no. Ichiro, 3,000 hits in Japan, almost had 3,000 hits here. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Troy Tulowitzki, that's another guy that shouldn't even be on the ballot. And I heard some of the writers, too, man. Some of these writers are just, I don't know what they're taking, ayahuasca or something like that. They're hanging out with Aaron Rodgers too much. But Troy Tulowitzki is not even a Hall of Famer. Chase Utley, fence guy, no. Omar Vizquel, strictly on the defense. If, you know, Ben Zobrist, who's not a Hall of Famer, but if he's getting on the list, Omar Vizquel definitely deserves to be on that list. And he's right behind Ozzie Smith. And if Ozzie has 90 career home runs, he definitely belongs on that list. Billy Wagner, Hall of Famer. David Wright, no. David Wright is Don Mattingly. David Wright is Keith Hernandez. Injuries stopped their career, shortened their career. Could have been a lot more. David Wright, man,